Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I am Sally Lemus. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. Saipan senators share some dark numbers with chamber members. Also tonight, the governor makes a tough decision and sticks by it. And PSS board members fail to elect its officers. Why? In sports, this young athlete learns more than just kicks and punches. Stay with us, we have these stories and more up next.
Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. If you feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we give it to you. Everybody feel it come around with everybody in the block. 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 Everybody round.
We knew it was time to make these when we started asking things like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to get a warm cinnamon roll right now? And why can't this kind of muffin come from the same place as a McMuffin? And isn't your coffee lonely without company from a glazed apple fritter? Well, consider these our 3 resounding yeses. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the WAMI and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Friday, March 3rd, 2023. A presentation by Senate President Edith Leon Guerrero shows a gloomy snapshot of the NMI's financial state. A recent financial report from fiscal year 2020 shows that the Commonwealth already had a deficit of $481 million. Senate President Edith Leon Guerrero presented the government's finance during the Saipan Chamber of Commerce meeting last Wednesday at the Kensington Hotel. The report further shows that depreciable capital asset is $362 million, accumulated depreciation of that particular asset is $262 million, and the CNMI's capital assets only have 28% of useful life left.
We need to improve our infrastructure, and I'm happy to see that a lot of movement is going on with respect to construction projects. Here in Saipan, a lot are happening also in Tinian with the infusion of the military build-up, and also for the island of Rhoda. I'm sure there's many projects going on down there.
DeLon Guerrero further says that the NMI's long-term debt stands at $586 million, while 214% of assets were funded by debt.
In other words, for every dollar of asset that we own, the CNMI owes $2.14 to others. We're business people. You don't have the money, basically. This is what the number is saying. You pay out more than what you have, so you're always operating in the negative.
One finding that DeLeon Guerrero stresses on is the questionable cost of $47.8 million. DeLeon Guerrero says the question now should be pivoted towards these questionable costs.
This becomes public debt if we don't resolve it, driving us deeper into a deficit that is not responsible financial management for any government. We should not be standing proud about this report card with the way we manage ourselves properly. That is being honest, that is being transparent, that is being accountable. And it is important that we say that to the people so that you all as a business sector also understand where we stand financially.
DeLeon Guerrero is part of the administration's fiscal response team, who is tasked to validate the numbers and determine the true financial state of the NMI. She says they continue to meet on a weekly basis despite all the challenges with the Munis system. But one recommendation is to have an in-house economist.
Why don't we have an economist in the house of this government? We need that, so that this person can tell us exactly what are the viable industries for the Commonwealth. What industries are not good for us because they're they're just not gonna make money in our area. And so we need that person, and we need to find that person.
Enforcement is also a suggestion from the Senate President. Last month, DeLeon Guerrero filed a resolution requesting Governor Palacios to collect all business gross revenue taxes owed to the NMI. It was revealed that there is a $24.8 million of unreported gross revenue taxes.
Imagine, that's for 3 years of audit. Not today, I'm talking a couple years back. This money remains uncollected. Fast forward 3 years more. Multiply that by 2. You know what I'm saying?
DeLeon Guerrero says our system itself is hurting itself because there is a need for greater enforcement. Also speaking at the chamber meeting was Congressman Gregorio Kilili Sablon. Stay with KSPN as we bring you more coverage of the meeting. With the CNMI finances standing at a possibly major deficit, Governor Palacios stands firm with the decision to terminate the sole source contract with Mariana's Southern Airways.
Even if I met with him, nothing's going to change. You know, the ARPA is gone. The commitment was made without setting aside the funding, as we all know, and as we speak, we're struggling with even keeping 500 people employed. Families, it's going to be very painful, and so I'm not sure. I kind of stay away from the statements, and but to your question, I'm not sure that the Commonwealth government is in a position to fork out another $6 million over what has been paid already.
The administration issued a notice of termination of contract between MSA and the NMI government last month. The administration says there is no more funding available to support the $8 million contract. To date, the CNMI has paid MSA at least $2 million. While MSA CEO Keith Stewart says the NMI government has not been consistent with payments, the governor says there is just no money. Governor Palacios has also suspended any future pay hikes and merit awards as part of the government's cost containment measures. Teacher certifications and school grants are on the line as education officials face some internal challenges. The 18th CNMI State Board of Education has failed to organize for the third time due to lack of quorum. 3 public notices has been issued out for regular board meetings dated for February 1st, 14, and 24. But all 3 meetings have yet to reach crucial items on the agenda due to the absence of certain members. In a recording from the February 1st meeting, member Andrew Orsini called for an executive session to discuss the election of officers. Board member Gregory Borja asks why.
Chair, again, going with what our legal is, and my understanding is we want to discuss before election of officers, the process of election of officers. I don't see why that needs to be behind closed doors, how we elect our officers. It should be discussed in open forum so the community knows what we're doing.
Again, this is board privilege. This is just purely board privilege. Like I said earlier, the board has not met for quite some time. There needs to be an update. If the board does get out of executive session, we will inform the good public exactly what the board discussed in terms of fairness.
Board member Antonio Borja speaks on his part.
You have to remember that we are elected officials. A lot of our discussions that are not personnel or legal updates has to be discussed publicly. So if we're going to talk about the process of being voted as officers, everyone needs to know that.
The recording goes on with board members attempting to have further discussion while Orsini calls for the vote.
Personal matters that we're going to discuss in addition to that.
Again, Pro Tem, I'm calling for the vote. One more discussion, please. Member Greg Barhan, director.
Thank you. I believe discussion is still warranted in this regard, where the election of officers can occur prior to the descent into the executive.
I call for the vote, Pro Tem Chair. This is just really tedious for me. Please, call for the vote.
There's nothing wrong with what
I call for the vote, please. I call for the vote.
The vote to move into executive session was 3 noes from members Antonio Borja, Mazie Tenorio, and Gregory Borja. Orsini and member Herman Atalik voted yes.
Pro Tem Chair, you have 3 members voting no, 2 members voting yes.
I disagree with you guys, man. I don't want to be part of this Mickey Mouse stuff.
Orsini and Atalik then walked out. The board has since failed to meet due to the absences of the 2 members. In an interview with PSS Commissioner Alfred Ada, he says they are working in finding a date where all members will be available. As to the disagreement to meet in executive session before electing officers, Ada says,
In that executive sessions, sometimes I'm privileged to sit in and sometimes I'm not. But at this time, I don't even know if I'm going to be invited to the executive session at this time. So it's really a board issue. It's really the board having to come together and to an agreement with that the agenda.
Ada says he is confident the board will meet soon. KSPN reached out to member Andrew Orsini for a comment on the issue. Orsini just got back this morning from off-island travel. Here is his comment. According to Orsini, the problem is that board members have conflicting personal schedules with the proposed meeting dates. He says a quorum constitutes 4 of 5 of the elected voting members. Orsini believes once members make their personal schedules align with the proposed dates, things will be back to usual and in business to transact the affairs of the PSS as required by law. When asked if he still has intention to call for an executive session, Orsini says, quote, "Yes, of course. The executive session is imperative prior to the election of officers. The need for the board to be updated on critical matters is detrimental to the selection of a chairman who will properly guide the direction of the board that will be the best interest for PSS, especially in the intricate dealings with the CNMI's new elected leadership in both the executive and legislative branches," unquote. The CNMI Emergency Operations Center State Warning Point advises the general public of a detonation activity in Marpi next week. Marpi Landfill, Bonsai Cliff, Suicide Cliff, and Grotto will be closed on Friday, March 10th between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. The U.S. Navy EOD and DFEM's UXO personnel will conduct a detonation activity at the Saipan Marpi Blow Pit. The general location will be at the pit within 500 feet radius on all quadrants to 2,500 feet above sea level. Due to the dangers imposed by these activities, Governor Arnold Palacios strongly advises the general public, especially fishermen, commercial pilots, and marine tour operators, to stay away from these areas. All right, coming up, get your grills and coolers ready because one of the local favorites is back. Stay tuned.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month. Plus, a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
It's okay to take a friend or parent's medication. It came from a doctor, right?
Using someone's prescription is really risky. Taking any drugs for which you have not been medically screened is not only dangerous, but taking an opioid that was not prescribed for you is also illegal. Never borrow and never share prescribed medication. Your life and your loved one's life could depend on it. Talk to your doctor about prescribed opioids. Never mix with alcohol, and remember, never borrow, never share. It only takes a little to lose a lot.
This project was supported by a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. Contents are solely the responsibility of CHCC and do not necessarily represent the official views of the CDC or the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CNMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. America's national pastime and a definite local favorite is finally back.
You cannot talk about sports in the CNMI without talking about baseball.
After 4 long years, baseball is back in the NMI. Tan Holdings is now the official sponsor of this year's league, which is set to begin this month. President and CEO Jerry Tan presented a $10,000 check to Saipan Baseball League President Jay Santos, Vice President George Camacho, Secretary Herman Quinto, and board members Kyle Hokuk and Shine Tenorio. Santos says it's an exciting time for baseball.
It's very thankful and go a long ways in covering utility costs, field maintenance costs, and game officials. So those are kind of the core expenses for our league is to keep the lights on because all the games are going to be in the evening, and of course we got to have umpires on the field. So that along with the statisticians and people keeping score and all those things. So this is certainly going to go a long, long way in determining the success of our season.
Tan says it was sad to see the baseball field damaged by past typhoons and no one on the field during the pandemic. But the NMI national baseball team still took home the gold during the Pacific mini-games.
It's not just for the players or the coaches. This is for the entire community, right? Now I can look forward to driving along Beach Road and actually see baseball game happening daytime and nighttime.
Opening game is scheduled for March 25th at the Tanco Palacios Baseball Field in Susupi. 11 teams are set to play in this year's league. Tan will be throwing the ceremonial first pitch. Saipan ukulele players head to Guam to showcase their talent at a music festival in Ipao Beach. This morning, they provided a little pre-flight entertainment for United passengers. Let's take a look and listen. What a great way to sit through a flight. Good luck to all the players. All right, coming up, and my women head to the Middle East. But first, a quick stop in Asia. Stay tuned.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Freshness. It's the overall reason beer drinkers choose draft beer. And that's the reason Godfather's is making a serious commitment to offering their customers a full lineup of draft beer on tap. Choose from Lagunitas IPA, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Lost Coast Downtown Brown Ale, Fat Tire, Blue Moon, and more. All competitively priced. Godfather's Bar now serving the island's widest selection of ice cold beer right from the tap. Godfather's Bar, where everybody's family.
The Tan Su Lin Foundation promotes the culture of giving back. The foundation and its generous partners are committed to supporting programs that include health, education, and sports. Initiatives that promote arts and culture, the environment, and tourism will benefit our community and our residents. Giving back and making a difference will help ensure that the island paradise we call home will be a better place to live.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live.
Buenas sports fans.
The NMI U20 women's national soccer team begins their journey to the Middle East to play for a spot in the upcoming championships. First stop is Philippines. The women's soccer team will be spending a few days at the Tuloy Exo Field in Alabang, Philippines for training camp. The team left on Wednesday as they begin their journey on to Palestine for the AFC Women's Cup qualifiers. The team will undergo multiple training sessions, exhibition games, and other activities on the field. The team is set to depart Philippines on Tuesday and arrive in Palestine on March 9th. NMI will have 2 matches, playing the host country Palestine on March 10 and Nepal on the 12th. You can watch the games live on the AFC Asian Cup official YouTube channel. Tomorrow's Wahoo Derby has been postponed and will be happening next week. Due to a small craft advisory in effect and inclement weather projected for the weekend, Tossy at the Table announces the 4th annual Wahoo Derby is rescheduled for next week, Saturday, March 11th. Pre-registration will be held next Friday, March 10th at the Smiling Cove Marina from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Entry fee is $200 per boat with 1 captain and 2 anglers. Any additional angler will be charged $30 each. The next day's tournament will begin at 6 in the morning until 5 p.m. First placers will take home $2,000, second placers $1,500, and third placers will still go home happy with $1,000. All right, to wrap up our sports report, let's meet tonight's young star. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. A quote by Maya Angelou.
Young Star Shining, brought to you by the Tan Su Lin Foundation.
A 6th grader from Tonopeg Middle School is our young star for tonight.
Hi, my name is Tristan Jacob Ferrer. I'm 12 years old. I go to Tonopeg Middle School, and I'm in the 6th grade.
Ferrer goes to the Taekwondo Center under the care of Master Vicente Camacho. His coach may be strict sometimes, but he cares so much about his students.
He's a very nice guy sometimes, but he's also very strict. And he's also very thoughtful for us, and he always cares for us. He always thinks of us first than him.
Taekwondo helps Ferrer be a better person. He has more confidence on himself and is now more sociable.
Yes, it has improved me because I've always been talking to more people now and made more friends ever since I went to Taekwondo.
Ferrer's favorite move in Taekwondo is the front snap kick reverse.
The reason why it's my favorite move is because it's very fast-paced and it's usually all the funnest kick out of all of them. And it took me a while, maybe like 2 weeks or more to perfect that and do it fast enough.
Recently, all his hard work and dedication paid off when he earned his junior black belt. Here is his advice to those young kids out there who may want to follow in his footsteps.
My advice, if you're interested, is to always put your grades high. And if you want to try it because it's going to be like almost your best decision in life.
Young Star Shining, brought to you by the Tan Su Lin Foundation.
Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. If you feel it come around with round. Everybody feel it come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we give it to you. Everybody feel it come around with everybody in the block. 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 Everybody round.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Ghost Gym, and today I want to go over some exercises that you can easily apply into your current exercise program. Now I have here with me Vince, and he's going to be demoing some of those exercises. Now the first one today is going to be a one-arm dumbbell row. Before I have Vince here execute a few reps, what we want to remember with virtually any exercise is your setup. If you start in a bad position, it's not going to look good and it's certainly not going to feel good. So a common mistake with here is obviously a rounded upper back. And as you can see, he's not very rigid or stable. So what we're gonna do is correct that just a little bit. So his supporting arm and his leg that's supported on the bench as well we wanna lock that in. Open up that leg a little bit to allow for a better path on that dumbbell. With the elbows coming up way too high, you can see the shoulders riding forward and that's not what we want. So ideally, what you wanna think about is pulling with your elbows and stopping right at the midline of your body. So in this position right here, you can feel his entire upper back along with his core.
For the KSPN weather report tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers, breezy with an east-northeast wind 17 to 22 miles per hour and gusts as high as 28 miles per hour, high 83, low 75, humidity at 79%. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with isolated showers, breezy with an east-northeast wind 22 to 24 miles per hour, gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high 84, low 76. Dangerous rip currents along the east-facing reefs of the Marianas through late Sunday night. Rip currents can sweep even the best swimmers away from shore into deeper water. Smokecraft advisory is still in effect. Northeast wind 15 to 25 knots with gusts up to 30 knots and seas to 7 to 11 feet along with Marianas coastal waters until 6 p.m. Sunday. These conditions will be hazardous to small craft. Winds and seas are expected to drop below hazardous levels briefly today before rebuilding late tonight or Saturday. Inexperienced mariners, especially those operating smaller vessels, should avoid navigating in the hazardous conditions. Sunrise will be at 6:33 a.m., high tide 4:11 p.m., low tide 11:59 p.m., and the sunset, you can catch that at 6:25 p.m. And that wraps up your Friday edition of the news, sports, and weather here in the Marianas. Thank you so much for watching the Channel 2 News. We hope you have a great night, a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday with more.